love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working.
Hello, Miami. You're watching 305 Sports Now. I am your host, Will. Thank you so much for watching. And joining me today is a very good friend of the show and a very, very familiar face if you're into the fight game, locally especially. Let me introduce you to CEO and founder of 305 Fights TV, who has an event this weekend, November 2nd, at the Manuel Art Time Arena Theater, over in La Pequeña Habana. Let me introduce you guys to Mr. 305 Fights himself, Mr. Elio Tarrago. What's up, Elio? How's it going?
Very good, thank you. Where the champions rise, donde surgen los campeones.
There we go. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear, and it's true, man. You guys do have a reputation for bringing up some very, very young and up-and-coming fighters. So I want to go over this event a little bit. We were talking a little bit before the show started, and you always bring it, okay? You always bring it. And you always have a very good card of fights, and they're very entertaining, both in male and also female. MMA as well. You also do things a little bit differently. You have 17 fights as of right now on the docket for that event. 17 fights, and for those of you that like fights that matter, 4 championship bouts. Okay, so Mr. Tarrago, can you please tell us a little bit about these fights, these fighters, and what fights we should be looking out for?
Okay, excellent. And the reason we have such great fights is because we have such a great talent in South Florida and the South FLA in 305. And, you know, we're really blessed and fortunate to have a platform for this talent. Like, you expose all the talent in the University of Miami. Okay, so we have, you know, like always, kickboxing, grappling, MMA. We like to encompass all combat sports and entertainment. We have some new schools joining us, and it's really interesting. We have a lot of karate schools coming and joining us. You know, now there's another league called Karate Combat that's doing a lot of combat sports. Is growing out of South Florida, out of Miami. We have fighters coming up from all different parts of the world. Like the first fight, the gentleman is from Vietnam. We have fighters coming from Fort Lauderdale. 2 of the fights, they're twins, like my brother and I. So it's interesting. Each brother's fighting in the same card. New schools, the same schools. A lot of fighters making the return. You know, it's so important, most and foremost, that it's a platform for people to get to rise, to get the knowledge. We have super heavyweight fights. We have the title fights. All these people are matched up so good. They're so talented. It's not because if it's our show, but it's going to be so great, so exciting, combined with el sabor, the flavor of bilingual of the 305. And we have our diva, Gabby. She is performing 2 of her songs. She's an artist. So we have a diva, a 305 diva, which is one of our entertainers, because we have not only ring girls, we have dancers. They're called the 305 Divas. And one of them is taking this platform to promote her talent as an artist and as a singer. So she's going to be doing 2 acts. So it's going to be a great positive event. Hope everybody comes out. Thank you for supporting us.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna throw a couple names out there, okay, of some of the guys on your roster, on your card, and you tell us a little bit about those individuals, as much as you can. Okay, so I'm gonna throw out a couple names. Watch, I'm gonna throw out one name, and then you tell me what to expect out of this individual and why, you know, the audience should buy a ticket or purchase on pay-per-view. So the first guy I'm gonna talk about is, let's see if I can get you here, man. What throw out is Mr. Julian Perez. Tell us a bit about him.
Julian Perez. Let me look up where he's at here. Okay, Julian Perez. He was with us in sport MMA, and now he's an amateur and MMA. And then from there, hopefully he'll be going to the professionals. We have 2 professional companies that are working with us to offer professional contracts to become professional. One company's out of Brazil, one company's out of South America. So little by little, we want to become international. Another example of that is that we have Christian Vasquez. Okay, he was our sports MMA champion. He's doing a debut now as an MMA amateur fighter. So in other words, they're junior adults, 18 or under. Now they're fighting as adults. And then from there, I think these young men are going to have a really good opportunity to a professional career.
If I recall, Christian is that kid with that mean kick that I remember when he was like 16 years old, right? He fought for you at one point as an amateur, and he had like a nasty kick. He won his fight, and he's
Yes,
very yeah, I remember about a year or two ago.
Yes, and he's a high decorated wrestler.
Okay.
And again, these fighters are all coming from different schools. So we're promoting not only this young talent, but the schools and our local businesses, our local economy, local coaches. We have so many great coaches. You know, we just did our video shoot and photo shoot. One of our sponsors, UFC North Miami, Mr. Marco Perez. And I'll give you an example. Right there, I interviewed one of the coaches. He's a 4-time Bellator champion middleweight. Marco Perez, who's the owner. Not only is the owner, but he's a black belt in Gracie Barra Jiu-Jitsu. He promoted events in Panama. He's an official for the Florida Boxing Commission. So not only the fighters, but we're promoting a lot of the schools and a lot of the coaches.
Right. That's fantastic. I mean, every time I talk to you or I go to an event, you're always growing and you're always packed with people. Last time I was there, you had a guy who I had a great pleasure of meeting, and his name was Brian Fury. Brian Fury is in partnership with obviously you should know the name. Everybody out there should know the name is Sugar Rashad Evans and so on. Have you ever pick up partners like that as far as to help sponsor the company, or are you still working with more people like that? Like who else have you been working with that we can look out for?
Yes, like I told you, we have 2 companies right now that approached us, that have been approaching us, that we're trying to the 305 Fights champions that qualify, get them professional contracts so they become professionals and they can fight overseas, Brazil, South America. We have some health and wellness partners, dynamic wellness, strength care essentials, that we're providing a lot of healthcare support to the fighters before the fight, during the fight, after the fight. So it's post-fight. That's been something that's been working really, really good. Again, these are relationships that we have right now that we're going to be building. I myself am very careful who we, build a relationship with, because, one of the questions would be, well, what makes us different? Different from the combat leagues and stuff that I think not what makes us different. Let me talk about combat, why 305 Fights, what it is. Combat sport, 305 Fights is a combat sport league and entertainment, but I promote the martial arts through the medium of combat sports and entertainment. Because there's martial arts, there's combat sports, and there's the entertainment business. I'll give you an example. Stuart Warren Dansby, he was our executive kickboxing champion. Okay, he worked with us and filmed a documentary called "Taking the Fight." Okay, it's a great story. A person at his age and his level, how he became a champion, and the documentary has won 26 Film Festival awards.
Wow.
31 awards. Is streaming on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Tunes, and Google Play. And that was all not because of me, but that was because of 305 Fights. So I really want to make sure that we promote, when I say the martial arts, is the philosophy behind the martial arts. There's a lot of combat sports coming out. Look, Mike Perry, who's a champion in bare knuckle fighting. I just was watching that he comes out with a new league called Dirty Boxing, which is punches, elbows, and ground and pound. That's all great. And I wish everybody the best. But I want to promote the philosophy of the martial arts, the virtues of martial arts, like our shirt says, respect and honor. because these people are going to go off and they're going to have families. They're going to be brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, professionals. And are we having more warriors of virtues? That's what's important to me.
That's fantastic. That's great. I mean, I'm very impressed from what you've done. And one of the things that, like I said, I do like about what your company does is the whole not just embracing the mixed martial arts aspect of things, but you're also embracing the combat systems as well. Very few companies like Bellator, UFC, which I like watching. I'm not gonna lie to you. They have a full blown just a plain jujitsu fight, event right then and there. So that's something that I'm glad you brought to the table as well. You also promote a lot of your like I said, your combat motion systems as well within 305 fights. Tell us a little bit about that. I know we've talked about in the past, but those who are new listeners, you viewers in general, what is combat motion system? I know that's something you came up with, I believe, with your brother, or was it something that you just came up with by yourself?
Well, no one comes up with anything by themselves.
Okay.
I was created by two people. So I always say a co-creation.
Okay.
It's based on my life experience. I'm going now on 40 years of teaching and 50 years of in the martial arts. And to this day, I still have teachers and I still train.
Okay.
In fact, I take an online course through Skype and Zoom with a teacher from Hong Kong, which I'll be visiting soon. I usually, after the fights, I travel all around the world, still learning, because that's the important thing about being a martial arts student and about the martial arts, that you're always learning and you're always growing. I think the forte of our sports combat system is that on the combat sports side, we focus on MMA. Why? Because MMA combines long distance, which is kicking, middle distance, which is punching, elbows, close distance, which is grappling, throwing, ground and pound, 5 elements. For example, boxing covers one element, middle distance, punching. Bare knuckle has punching, but they have grabbing also. They add another element. The dirty boxing added elbows, but mixed martial arts has all of that, plus the kicking, plus the knees, plus the grappling, plus the throwing. So a lot of people say, well, mixed martial arts has, when they use the names of styles, I don't use the name of styles, I use the name of systems. Okay. That's why I said classification by distance, because it's a science. For example, from long distance, people say, if you say kicking, people say taekwondo, Muay Thai, kickboxing. If you say middle distance, they'll say boxing, kickboxing. If you say close distance, they'll say grappling, throwing, judo, jiu-jitsu, sambo. Then when you go on the ground, they're going to say newaza, ground technique. But we cover is the whole system as a science. In fact, I'm very proud to have a lot of fighters, 6 fighters from MMA science, from Sensei Roger Crawl, he used formerly with American Top Team Coconut Creek. He is the coach of Amanda Nunez and a lot of UFC fighters. He's been around a long, long time. And curious enough, his name of his location is called MMA Science. He has also a junior team representing the U.S. They went all around the U.S. and representing the U.S. with juniors, with kids. And it's good because what's happening is it's coming together as a science. And I think when it comes together as a science, it brings value. And when it has value, then you can have higher contracts, higher pay for the fighters, and more benefits.
Yeah. We've talked about this in the past, and it's been mentioned before in other interviews. The South Florida 305 was 305 Broward, and I think even Palm Beach County. It's MMA is very underrated because people think about Brazil, they even think about Vegas as well. But a lot of good fighters, solid fighters, have trained in Miami, or they've trained in Broward, or they trained in basically West Palm Beach as well. What can you tell us about the growing popularity of mixed martial arts and the rise of the South Florida fighter in the mixed martial arts world at a much more, let's say, maybe UFC level per se?
Yes. Well, look, I mean, you just had this fight card, a bunch of fighters that train out of South Florida. Um, and I've said before, Miami has become the mecca of mixed martial arts because Miami is a melting pot. So what happens? For example, some of these big schools, they actually have dormitories, like the University of Miami,
Okay.
and you have fighters coming all around the world that actually stay in the school, sleep in the school, in the dormitories, and train and fight. You have, look, BKFC, bare knuckle fighting, has made a big name for itself here in South Florida. You have Karate Combat, who is making a huge name in the combat sports here. They're the awesome president, the Ghost Shed Academy, one of the academies. They have UFC fighters. They're based here out of South Florida. You have so many top elite organizations. Khabib, when Khabib opened his Eagle FC, the headquarters was in Miami, Florida. Again, why? You have people from all over the world, fighters that are coming to train at elite schools at a great weather. You know, it's very important. You know, if you want to go outside and train, if the weather's bad, you can't go out. You can't go out and train. You can't train, and that's what's created this past UFC. You had two. No, this UFC had a fighter from here, from South Florida, from Tampa, and the UFC in the Fighter Challenge, where they give contracts to a fighter. They just gave a contract to a fighter, a Cuban fighter. So you have all those foreign fighters that are coming to Miami and really growing the fight game.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear as well. Also, a thing as well, since we really don't have a winter in South Florida, you could train all year round. You know, whereas if you're up in New York or you're up in like Minnesota, you're pretty much shelled, or for at least a good time being. So yeah, so I mean that's one thing too, like the growth of mixed martial arts in Miami, how Miami's become a major headquarters as well. But I want to take it back to Saturday night, because Saturday night is a big night for you. It is another event. How long have you been doing it? Before I get into the championship card, how long have you
This
been
is
been with the Miami Manual Airtime Theater?
okay. This is our 21st event already,
Okay,
and we're going on our 6th year event. I want to talk a little bit about the Marchand brothers.
go
These
right
are like,
ahead.
yeah, these are the twin brothers that are fighting on the card. I think it's so cool that they're brothers and they get to share the same dream, train together. They're out of the MMA science at Roger Cross School, top schools. They have really tough fighters that are their opponents. That it's going to be a really great fight. But not only a great fight, what's behind the stories behind, like what I'm telling you now. I mean, imagine you and your brother can fight on the same card, and you're training together, and you're motivating each other in your same path and in your same dream. That right there is a win.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, and that's amazing that they have an opportunity. And again, you know, if you want to check it out, you know, doors open at from us. Doors open at 6, right? On
Doors open at 6. Show
yes, there
starts
we
at
go.
7. Also, if you want to catch the pay-per-view, the streaming, go to triunfafights.tv. Si quieren ver en su casa por el pay-per-view, vayan a website, triunfafights.tv. We also have a gentleman, he's our champion, defending, Austin Yalowitz. This kid is so good, and he's so professional. He's so professional. He's defending his title. He's coming back with us. We have um, another title fight, Jose Luis Suarez. He's coming again, our second time. He's fighting a gentleman from UFC North Miami that I mentioned before. We have from Armando Grandos, another title fight. He's from Freestyle Fighting Academy. Freestyle Fighting Academy has champions. In fact, Christy, she was a kickboxing champion. She's in bare knuckle now, and she's fighting for the bare knuckle female championship coming up now. They also have the Dream Killer, who is a BKC fighter, undefeated. That school's been around for a long time. The famous Kimbo Slice fought out of there. So imagine that. Listen to all the names I'm telling you. You know, all these people, they're coming from these schools with these coaches. This is what makes South FLA 305 the place.
Yeah. If I know you do, I'm only asking because you do this every so often. If someone happens to drop out last minute, I know sometimes you ask for fighters. to step in. Where exactly, if someone's watching out there and they want to get in, just like I said, this episode will air Wednesday, and they want to get in, where exactly can they find you?
Great question. Not only are you good looking, but you're very intelligent.
Thank you. You're not so bad yourself, sir.
Yeah, I have somebody around Miami trying to look like me, but I'm the original. Okay, you can go to thrillfights.tv. That's our website. There you can register to fight. Like you said, we're always looking for fighters. This card went from 30 fighters to 15.
Wow.
We had, because I can't have 30 fights in one night. I'll be here the whole night.
Absolutely.
We have the 305 Pass, which you can subscribe and get all the previous fights, all the content, like this interview, tutorials. I do a lot of tutorials because I'm heavy into education, and I know you're into education also yourself. I think that's a very, very important. If you go to the website, entertainment, the talent can sign up there, can register there. Everything is coming through the website. I was telling you about entertainment. I'm sorry, education. I'm really big on education. I think that even though that we're in the Mecca right now, and we're at the not at the peak, we're going towards the peak of combat sports. I still think we can focus even more on education. What I mean education is that combat sports is a science, from the training, from the nutrition, from like people watch Mike Tyson, for example, and they say he's a beast, he's a killer. Yes. But if you research him, his teacher, him as a person, his path, that guy's read I don't know how many books, how many videos. His teacher was an unbelievable, not only boxing coach legend, but a hypnotist. If you look at the much of study and education he put into his effort, you'll be amazed.
Yeah, Mike's an interesting character. And yeah, he actually had two really good teachers. He has Customado, who you're referring to, and he had and later in his career, unfortunately, was because he was trying to fight a little bit more. Was Freddie Roach as well, who I think I have a lot of respect for as a trainer, and has the best. And despite the fame, he has the best fighter. He has the best interest for I'm sorry. I have like a word salad going on right here, and I don't know what's going on with me. No, he has the best fighter. He has the interest of the best fighter. He has the interest of the best. You know what I'm saying? He has the best fighter's interest in time. Man, we were recording late, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. He has his fighter's best interest. There we go. It took me 4 takes just to say his fighter, the interest of the best. Oh my God.
The fighter's best interest.
Yes, the fighter's best interest. There we go. I might edit this part.
You know that I'll send you the clip if you don't believe me. But Gus, I'll tell you how much you have to be in applied research. Gus D'Amato, Mike Tyson has been quoted stating that one of the things he researched for his style of fighting, one of the things he researched was martial arts. Because because his style has what they call in Spanish desplazamientos, or what I call the geometry of combat, using angles and the concept of hitting and not getting hit, which is what Gus D'Amato said. Boxing is the hardest science of the square within the circle, of hitting and not getting hit. And he credits martial arts. So, Muhammad Ali's camp was bought by George Dillman, a great martial artist. He was friends with Joy Reid, the father of American Taekwondo. A lot of his footwork and step, was based on martial arts. You interviewed the pro boxer, pro MMA fighter, the Puma. I'll give you an example. She's coming out of ABC Boxing Gym, who is my martial arts brother, Scott, the great Scott Ashley, world kickboxing champion, professional boxer under Angelo Dundee, the trainer of Muhammad Ali. Okay, there's so much behind this. An elite master. I'm saying we really need more education and more. There's so much behind this that really elevate this to the highest level.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. But you mentioned one of your fighters. You got 3. You got 3 fight cards in terms of champ. I'm sorry, 4 fight cards in championship. You mentioned one fighter, and you got 3 left. Tell us a little bit about the rest of the individuals that are fighting for each title, like their weight class and something different about a fighter you may want to specify. Maybe your champion or maybe the contender,
Okay,
depending on
no,
how you see things.
thank you. I would like to highlight Dion Cesnus and Ronnie Martinez. This is super heavyweight. Super heavyweight is anything above 250. So you can have 600 pounds of punching, swinging, throwing, grappling inside a closed cage. Okay. This, I love this, everybody, and I love to see it because, and you know what the incredible thing about this? This gentleman, Dion, he's from Tron Fitness, Tron MMA. Now,
Okay.
the curious thing, the backstory. These are two brothers that one of them was 305 Fights champion, opened the school with his brother, training, teaching fighters with his brother. Now they have fighters in 305 Fights. And this is this super heavyweight fight, and he's very athletic. There's nothing more dangerous than somebody that size and that weight that is very athletic. Because power is velocity plus mass.
Yeah.
You have Anthony Izquierdo also fighting, a great young man with a great attitude. We have Strike Force, Striking Championships, MMA Science, Eric El Tigre Castaño, the Young Tiger Foundation fighters, the Goat Shed, Freestyle Fighting Academy. We have Freestyle Fighting Academy fighters from there. Let me tell you, in Freestyle Fighting Academy, you have Sensei Ray Fundora, an elite combat sports freedom fighters. Sensei Ray Fundora, we call him Ceviche. He is an elite combat sports master. He was the jiu-jitsu coach for UFC champions like Joel Romero, Manuel Manolo Lopez, who is an elite striker and coach, training all the top fighters that came out of Miami back in the day of Masvidal. So, like I said, we have a tremendous pool of talent in combat sports. You have some of the best Cuban boxing coaches here in South Florida who's training not only boxers, bare knuckle, and MMA fighters, training combat sports athletes, some of the best in the world.
Going back to Tigre, you've been working with him for years, and he's very well known in over here in South Florida. I forgot how the conversation went, but your good friend, your high school friend, I'm gonna give him a shout out. Guillermo Cancio, who's my best friend, and we worked together for so many years at Southwest. Even he knows who a Tigre is, and so on. How important is having that kind of relationship with the Young Tigers Foundation, that they're able to pull in fighters into your company and give you some really good combat fights?
Well, that's why I said that it's not we created; it's a co-creation. Mm-hmm. And every night, in the fighters meeting in the back, when we give them the rules and I have a moment to talk and address them, I give them, like my shirt says, respect and honor for putting the time and energy and effort in. Some of these coaches, some of these schools. I want to shout out Manny Del Rio, who is a combat specialist and a wrestling coach over there, Olympic medalist from Cuba. Okay? These people put in so much time, energy, and effort in helping these young people, these citizens. And let me tell you, and you're in the education business, you know about teachers. Mm-hmm. It's not for the money. If you want to be rich, don't be a teacher.
It's true.
So that's why I said there has to be a mission behind this. I always say the mission comes before the money, the commission. Mm-hmm. And I have to give a respect and honor to all these people because they put in so much effort and time and energy that you have to do it because you love it. You have to do it for a mission. Because the accolades, the money, that maybe could come later in life. I'll give you another example. We have a fighter, Kenny Lopez. He's fighting Jason Machart, one of the twin brothers. Kenny Lopez is from round 5. Cesar in round 5 has a UFC. He had a gentleman from Miami that started with him, and now he's been in the UFC, being very victorious in the UFC, a top UFC fighters who fights out of also MMA Masters. So again, look at all the names of all the coaches, all the schools that are based here in South Florida, providing this talent, este talento, este recurso.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Elio, I gotta say, I'm very happy to have you on again. It's always a great pleasure having a conversation with you as well. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see some good MMA, the Canes play at noon. All right, the Canes play at noon. They get to beat up on Duke at noon, so you have no excuse that you can't take some time off at night and watch some of these rising stars here in South Florida and make your way over to La Pequeña Habana at the Manuel Art Time Theater. 6 p.m. opening doors. 7 p.m. the event starts, and check out all these 17 bouts, 4 championship, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 championship bouts, and a rising pop artist as well that came from the 305 family as well. Please check it out. Elio, anything else you want to promote as well? At any social media handles that you want to talk about?
305fights.tv is our website. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all social media. Please hit like, share, post. We've grown because of the community. Thank you, the community. Also, I want to shout out and thank John Morrison from the ISK, International Sport Karate Association, one of the biggest professional world sanctionings. They've been around since Chuck Norris been fighting and being sanctioned. And they're the ones that keep it professional. Thank you, ISK, and thank you, everybody. Thanks, 305 Sports Now. Respect and honor.
Respect and honor, sir. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. Elio, say hi to your brother for me. All right, as well, in the family as well. We go way back, okay, for a very long time. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, once again, all right, 6 p.m., doors open. Manuel Art Time Theater. I keep calling it center. Manuel Art Time Theater, 7 p.m. The bout starts. Get ready as, once again, South Florida rising talent. 17, guys. 17 fights. 4 of them are for the 305 Fights TV Championship title. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. And if you can't make it, no excuse. You guys can be able to hit that 305 pass and watch it from your home computer or cell phone, whatever is used to watch, whatever you use to stream. Okay, you can stream this show. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. God bless. See you soon. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye bye.